The PICO presentations are to be a maximum of 2 minutes. I will be a very strict timekeeper because that's my job. I will give you a 30-second warning, and then at 2 minutes you will be asked to stop even if you're not finished. So I am sorry for that if it feels a little bit mean, but that's sort of the way PICO sessions work. So I'll advance the slides and then call you forward. If you have, some people have more than one slide. All I can say is I wish you the very best of luck. But then you can do the advancing on the thing, which I think is here. Let's just make sure it is. So our first PICO presentation is Anna Neubeck. So the floor is yours. I think you just need to stand near there.
Okay, so hello. My name is Anna Neubeck. I'm a researcher at the Department of Geological Sciences here at Stockholm University. My research question is here. Can we, by analyzing nickel isotopes preserved in the geological rock record, reveal the actual causes of the single most dramatic and literally life-changing event of Earth's history, the Great Oxygenation Event? So I'm looking at nickel isotopes in the geological rock record, and the reason for looking at nickel is because 2.5 billion years ago, there was a dramatic decline in dissolved oceanic nickel, and at the same time there was an equally dramatic increase in atmospheric oxygen. And these two are connected, so by looking at the isotopic composition of nickel inside those geological rock records from here, we may be revealing something about this great oxygenation event. And I'm using a laser ablation technique. It's a laser ablation time-of-flight mass spectrometer to do in situ analysis of fossilized microorganisms. And yes, my poster is over there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. And Anna is a postdoc, so you will unfortunately not be able to vote for her, but you are very, very welcome to go and look at her poster. And I'm now going to ask the next speaker forward, and that'll be PICO Poster. Are you here? Yeah. Yeah, you've only got one slide. Okay.
Hello, my name is Beate Proske. I'm a PhD student at DEEP, and I want to show you today actually a presentation of part of my PhD. I don't have any results yet. It's what I'm currently working on, and I want to introduce you a new method called demographic species distribution modeling, and how we want to bring together demography and spatial explicit information. So if you have any further questions on how this lovely flowchart works, or to understand it, come and see my poster. I think I have wall number 12.
Thank you very much. And we're now going to move on to Caroline Glaser. Glaser, sorry, did I say it wrong? You'll have to all repeat your name properly.
Okay, Caroline Glaser. Hi. We study microclimate and how it decides over life and death. And we are particularly interested in the life and death of that thingy. Everybody who was here in the morning knows that this is a butterfly, how it looks in the winter. So why did we hear so many talks about butterflies today? Butterflies belong to insects, and insects are ectotherms, which means they don't have any active temperature regulation. That means they're actually directly influenced by the surrounding climate, by the surrounding temperatures. And when you are a butterfly in the winter, in your sleeping bag, you cannot even move. So you are even more constrained by the temperatures around you and influenced by that. So that is what we are studying, the microclimate variation and what it matters for biology. And so if you're interested in downscaling climate to scales that are actually relevant for organisms, then please come to our poster. It's a small project that is funded by the Bolin Center and initiated by Philip Lehmann, who will also be by the poster. And I put a lot of effort in making this understandable also to people who study glaciers and oceans. So please come at least quickly by and have a look. Thanks.
Thank you. Caroline's poster is number 11. Who do we have next? we have Diana Carlson. So if you just press this button here, okay? That on the right.
Hello. I'm Diana Carlson. I'm a PhD student at the Swedish Museum of Natural History, just over the street. And I'm also connected to Hamburg University. So I heard that the PICO presentation is supposed to make you all intrigued, right? So I will give you a question to think about. Could igneous oceanic crust be used as a climate archive? And I know we have climate people here, maybe thinking, she's a bit crazy, which is probably true, because, yeah, you have to dare to ask questions within science, I think. So I will do a really simple presentation of what I'm doing. This is Earth prior to like 75 million years ago. We have dinosaurs, ocean atmosphere is all stable, sunny, and the igneous oceanic crust. We have microbial habitat that is fairly happy, I think. But then we had the KT impact, the meteorite that came down and left this. So the small dinosaur went on a very long vacation, and you see that we have a lot of particles going up in the atmosphere, giving rise to more clouds, higher albedo. We have a direct climate change, and also we have a lot of input into the ocean. So my question is, how does the microbial habitat down here actually look before, during, and after this impact event? I'm also interested in the surroundings. So I'm looking at calcite and hydrothermal veins in the bedrock. And because I'm very curious, I of course had to do some isotope analysis, but I have only a few points and it doesn't say much. But this is how I got it. And yeah, it's very everywhere, right? Doesn't look so much interesting. But then, I don't know. I'm stubborn, so I did 60 more analyses, which are running right now, hoping that maybe we could see something more. So if you're interested, you can come to number 15. I will be there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana. And oops, no, hold on. Do it like that. So our next poster is Evelyn Decker.
Hey, my name is Evelyn. I just started as a PhD at Nouveau. I'm looking at what is the role of sea ice in our climate sensitivity. So we expect sea ice to melt, and that will have implications for albedo feedback, maybe for clouds and other things. And I will study this in two experiments, one in which we do a Nouveau doubling of CO2 simulation of 50 years in which our sea ice will melt a bit. And one in why I want to keep the sea ice like in the present day situation by nudging below the sea ice to present day salinity and temperature. Then we have a different global mean temperature response after 50 years. So you see that when we still have sea ice, even though we have CO2, we have a lower global mean temperature rise compared to the normal doubling simulation. And on my poster, I'll explain what this means for climate sensitivity and how this nudging procedure works, and you're all very welcome to ask questions. Unfortunately, I have a Swedish course at 4:30, so be quick.
Thank you. And Evelyn's poster is number 2. And we'll move on to Jennifer Nouveau. Jennifer.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Hi, my name's Jennifer Newell, and I'm a PhD in the Department of Physical Geography here in Stockholm, also affiliated with Purdue University in the USA, which is why many of you probably haven't seen me around for a while. I present a poster here, which is part of an ongoing international collaboration in which my PhD is embedded. It's called MAGIC-DML, standing for Mapping, Measuring and Modeling Antarctic Geomorphology and Ice Change. So essentially the aim of my project, we go out to Antarctica and we look for signals of where the ice sheet has been at different elevations. So when the ice sheet in the past was thicker than today, something like this. And when we see that signal, we go and collect rocks that tell us about the timing at which this happened, so that we can reconstruct the rate at which the ice sheet has thinned in response to past changes in the climate. And we'll use this information to feed into our numerical ice sheet model. So it's an iterative feedback between the modeling and the empirical data collection reconstruction. We're currently between 2 field seasons, and just last month got our first results. So my poster is really just showing what we've been up to so far, and how we're using both the mapping that we've done remote sensely and these kind of very preliminary data to drive what we do when we go into the field in just under a month. That sums it up. I also have to leave at 4:30. I'm really sorry. So if you want to come and find out about this co-project, come and see me early on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. And Jennifer's poster is number 6. And we're moving on to Jenny Sjöström. Jenny.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny Sjöström. I am a PhD student at the Department of Geological Sciences. I work with reconstruction of atmospheric mineral dust deposition using raised peat bogs in southern Sweden as archive. And here you see some pictures from fieldwork. We go from left to right. That's sort of the process. We collect samples. We get a core, which is a sub-sample. It's milled and then taken up to Umeå. And hopefully custom doesn't stop you when you're in the bag looking like that. We analyze those bulk samples for elemental data composition. Then I burn off all the organics, do XRD analysis in order to say what kind of minerals I have in my peat sequence, and then construct profiles like this, whereby we can say when we've had elevated deposition of mineral dust in the peat. And my poster is number 17, I think. Yep, 17. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Jenny. And we're now moving on to Maria Fatakov. Maria?
Hi all, I'm Maria Fatakov. I'm a PhD student at the Department of Environment, Ecology, Environment and Plant Sciences. We call it quite often DEEP. As some of you heard in the morning or earlier, warmer temperatures alone are shown to advance spring phenology of many trees, but they also may have direct effects on the fungal diseases that attack in the trees. So in the experiment we ran this summer, we were interested in what actually the effect of warming on the tree phenology and also on the fungi that are attacking the trees. We also were interested in other factors, and I will gladly tell it about once you come by the poster. And my poster is number 10. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. So let's see, and oops. And now it's Maria Johansson. The thing is right here, and press that to move forward.
Thanks. This is my postdoc project at DEEP and C4. My name is Maria Johansson. It's about forest restoration projects or carbon storage projects in silvopastoral landscapes in Ethiopia. Effects on biodiversity, livelihoods, and wildfire risk. So one of the study areas is a RED Plus project, which means a large-scale land use change to increase carbon storage. That means that traditional burning and livestock has to be excluded to enhance tree regeneration. And this will lead to increased quantity and connectivity of surface fuels, which are important for forest fires or any type of vegetation fires. And at the same time, there's an increased frequency of extreme fire weather, and maybe pastoralist people will have different conflicting goals compared to the RED project. So then there might be increased ignition risk. So I have one savanna lowland system, which has been burnt and grazed for a long time. And the current trend is increased grazing pressure, reduced surface fuels, and cooler fires, and that might lead to bush encroachment and even reduce pasture quality. So I'm making grazing exclusions to see if I remove fire and grazing, will that lead to more surface fuels and tree killing fire intensities? And then I have a highland system with highland subalpine heathlands that have also been burnt and grazed for a long time. And there,
30 seconds.
yeah, okay. So the traditional burning causes fire breaks in the landscape, and if the traditional burning will be excluded, that will maybe lead to larger scale fires. And my poster is in the corridor.
Thank you very much, Maria. Maria is a postdoc, so you won't be able to vote for her. But you certainly should go and see her poster. Let's see where we're going to go now. And this is still yours, so we're going to... So, Peel Rasmussen.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Pete Rasmussen. I'm a PhD student at DEEP, and I work with soil microbes, particularly a group of root symbiotic fungi, Abuscula mycorrhiza, and these are very important. You find them in about 80% of all plants. And here we were looking at the spatial patterns of these fungi and also what environmental factors are driving the spatial distribution of these fungi. And I'd be happy to tell you much more about it and also other cool facts about these organisms that I really like. So you can come and see me at my poster. It's number 4. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Peel. And we're now, it's Sofia Shulman.
Hi, my name is Sofia Shulman, and I wrote my master thesis here at the Department of Physical Geography as part of this project, which I'm sure that some of you have already been introduced to by Britta earlier today. But I will just briefly mention where we've been, what we've done, and why we did that. And yes, our study area is situated in northernmost Norway, where we have permafrost and where we find pulses and peat plateaus, which are peat hummocks with permanently frozen cores. And what we did was that we sampled peat profiles that we analyzed for plant microfossils and geochemical properties. And by looking at what plants used to grow there, we can infer environmental changes. For example, when we have development from wet fen environments to raised peat bogs. And yeah, and by also applying radiocarbon dating, we can use this transition to get some indications on where we had the first permafrost degradation in this area. And this is important because subarctic peatlands store a lot of carbon, and partly degraded organic material contains a lot of carbon that will be stored in the frozen peat, but in a future warmer climate, this will be available for decay and can then lead to emissions of greenhouse gases, which will cause a positive feedback with even warmer surface temperatures. And we're actually just about to submit the manuscript with these results. So if you're interested in a preview, you can just come and talk to me and have a look at my poster. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Sophia's poster is number 28. And Velibor, Zeli? Velibor?
Hi, I'm very pleased to introduce my group from KDH because we don't have a chance to spend so much time here with all of you, but we're still here and contributing. And something that we're doing at KDH is turbulence modeling. We're trying to see how the turbulence is going to affect the mean flow in different applications. And we're mostly working with this explicit algebraic Reynolds stress model, or EARSM model, which is developed there. And it's a nonlinear model, turbulence closure model, and it's shown very good accuracy over the different applications so far. And so far they have implemented it in different kind of propulsions, both submarine propulsions, compressible flows, different jet flows, and so on. And it's nowadays very popular in Airbus, Saab, French naval research, and many other in-house codes use it as their standard turbulence tool. And now the idea is to extend it and to try to use it in stratified flows and to see how it could be applied in atmospheric boundary layers. And would the complexity and the accuracy of the model make some contribution to the atmospheric boundary layer? Because it's still very cheap and we can use it as agents. Yep, okay. So that's it. The poster looks like this, so you can find it at number 1.
So that is all of the PICO presentations that I received, and thank you very much for all of them. They were really great.